Yo, what is good, my anime people? What is good, yo? So, we have one of our more interesting episodes of The World's Strongest, and seeing this episode kind of makes me understand the future of this show and how dark and gritty it really was in the beginning and how much liveliness it's adding throughout its roster relatively quickly. Not only did we get probably an ally in one of the strongest dragons we've seen in a while, holding its own against like our crew and for a good amount of time. So it kind of makes sense that Dragonborns were held at such high regards because of literally how much she just went through, and the only reason why she lost was, because of whatever the circumstances was. She literally almost took out our main character and multiple people on top of that, but she was supposedly mind control, and I think the spear was the freeing of that mind control. But then after that, we find out that she's going to be controlled by another seams of measures. After being attacked by our main character and, catching that, we are now seeing quite a different tune on this girl. Um, she's definitely head over heels for the pain that she just went through, so that's a thing. Not only that, she is probably going to, earn her right to stay by. Um, she can fly. She's a dragon. She can blow like some crazy black and purple flame. She's pretty intelligent when it comes down to a lot of stuff that she's already told us about. Um, so that's already kind of the basis of her, like just what she can do um, as of right now. So to know that that is how she gets down, that is how powerful she is, and it actually took some effort to defeat, then yeah, I would love to see more of what she's going to bring to the table for the group. Um, but at the same time, she is pretty extra. She is pretty extra, guys. She loves her some long talks. I don't know. She's pretty funny, but there's not a lot of characters that have been, added that are funny like this that don't do well in shows, I think. Like I think because she's a added addition, she shouldn't be that bad. So that's what I'm hoping for anyway. If she is, then I apologize for making for making that guess and that she wouldn't be that bad. But when I say not that bad, I mean like as a character to watch, as a character to see grow, or just as a character to get on our main guy's nerves, with all the things that she's saying over and over, stuff like that. It's funny to me, and I think it's needed in a show where this man has been going through hell every single time he was, waking up every day, or not even knowing if he was waking up on a different day or like 2 days go by because he's literally living in a dark cave trying to protect himself and eating whatever comes his way just to get there. Um, that that storyline alone is enough to kind of be like, man, bro, like he went through it. He's definitely going to need, some time to recover. And here we go with these weird people who are going to be in his life, for the rest of whatever time. I'm not going to say that they're not going to die or whatever, but the way that this tone of this show is, it feels like they wouldn't. Like it feels like they should be safe to go. Like, sure, they're going to get tormented by humans because they're not human. But if that is as far as it goes, then there's not that much to worry about, right? Like, there's nothing too concerning about humans being humans in the grand scheme of them just talking trash and then not being able to back it up, right? Like, who can take out Yui, the last vampire of her race, and who could take out this dragonborn who isn't our main character? You know what I mean? Like, that's what I mean by they can get tormented and talk trash to all the time, but when it comes down to them actually losing their lives, even the bunny girl is in a really good position not to worry about taking any real damage because of how fast she is, how, ridiculously strong they built her up in the arcs of, in the arcs, in the couple of episodes that she joins our team and stuff like that. So it's relatively interesting to me that they would even go that route of if they ever try to like kill off these characters or something or pretend that this is their time that they're gonna go and then they somehow pull it out and win or something, that seems like something that's should be probably done. It's gonna be probably done. Um and I'm not mad at it as much as like once I see it, will it be good or will it be bad is my question. So we'll see how that plays out. Other than that, though, this week's episode was pretty straightforward. We find the guy that we needed to find that was attacked by the dragon. We then beat down the dragon because it was like watching the area or like just staying around at night for some reason. And then after doing all that, we come to find out she's mind controlled by someone in a dark robe who is also doing this across all the monsters within the vicinity or maybe even very farther out because having 60,000 monsters marching towards one place, I don't think you can find 60,000 of those types of variant of monsters, including finding this dragonborn that he brought to his side for as long as he did. It goes to show you how much power or how much confidence this guy had to walk up on a straight up sleeping dragon and then stay there for supposedly a day to try to mind control this girl. So that's crazy. Not only is it crazy, it's just some dude in a robe, like some normal human getting recruiting these people as we know right now, right? So that's unsettling as heck and as watching the main character not care and throw all of them aside and be like, well, this is my job and I got to do this. But I could have sworn the town that he needs to do that at, or that he was, oh, no, no, no. Okay. I think he was requested quite a while back before. No, I thought the town that he's talking about that he had to do this request is actually the town where these monsters are headed. So if he doesn't do this, if he can't return the guy because he's dead, then buddy, buddy, you get nothing, So I'm interested to see if that is the case. Maybe it wasn't the town we're looking at right now, but it would make the most sense because that's this is like his first time in some type of like humane area in this, in this part of the labyrinth or wherever the heck they are. So really interested in seeing where all this goes. I've been interested in the show for quite some time now that, oh my god, he does Awaken. Oh, what am I doing? I'm not even using my other characters. But because it's looking as good as it is right now, I have full faith that they're just going to, make this story amazing and make, whatever they want to make funny, funny. But at the end of the day, something crazy is going to pop off, and that's what this show has kind of been catering on, and not only cater like tink. There's a smell in the air that I can just feel it that is about to pop off, right? And because of that, I would love, 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 to see what they can really pull off. And once they pull that off, will it be something that, is rememberable, or is it going to be something that was just obvious because, they're doing it to appeal to certain audiences and stuff like, oh, and then they all live happily ever after because he needed to have a harem, you know, like, oh, well, and that's kind of lame. But if it's something where, I mean, this guy's already lost an arm, he's lost an eye. They're not being particularly nice to this character. They're not like letting him just get away unscathed from everything he does from back then till now. I mean, sure he didn't even get scratched this week, but that's him not working alone. That's him also with all the crafting materials that he has waited on, leaving that place that he got the opportunity to make them, and then who knows, he could have either practiced with them as well by just fighting smaller garbage monsters before we get to see him going up to where we are now. So stuff like that in the shows kind of make me annoyed. I mean, it happened a lot in Rise of the Shield Hero where he just kind of every time he has a shield and puts a monster's body part into it after taking it out, he would gain abilities from it. But all of a sudden, the next episode would show up and he would have two new abilities that had to have been taken from monsters or had to have been taken from something, and we never got to see that happen. And that's what I feel like could be this case is he's already fought, he's already done a couple stuff, so because of that, we don't really get to see anything transpire, you know. So that's just my opinion on that. I don't know if I'm even right or not, but I got a good feeling that that might be what he did because he has pretty good familiarity with all of his weapons, even his Jeep and stuff like that. You know, he feels like everything he has used or everything he has, he might have known about it back home, and by creating it and then wanting to try it out, he would have to get it perfect. He needs to get these things perfect to work well, right? Any little wrong details in these things, they're going to break, or well, they should, you know, or they could backfire. Or you could have ropes on the shields that he brings out this week and it not spread out far enough and not be as helpful as he thought. I just I just feel like they put in little effort into explaining everything that he even is capable of doing, including since um, he's been in there with Yui. He should have eaten something outside where the bunnies are. You know, he's human, so he should be eating every day. And when the only thing to eat are still monsters out there that should help him gain more skills, even if they aren't as useful as the high ranking skills that he got from the like crazy, disgusting strong monsters, that's okay. But at least let us know, like give us a hint that that's happened instead of just being like, oh, well, he's always been really experienced and that's why he's experienced now. Like, okay, cool, bro. But overall, that's just me being picky on some of the information that we're given. Not only that, meeting a Dragonborn and then them literally taking like no damage. And the only reason why this fight was even like kind of hard or even had some implications that it was difficult was because there was humans that instead of running, they dropped to their knees and started to get scared, even though they already had a reasonable person who's, well, I guess they didn't know. To be fair, they did not know, the people that were riding with him, how strong this guy has become, and just this was the, you know, piece of the resistance. You know, like they saw this and they're like, oh my gosh, whatever he went through, he is way higher than anything us humans have seen, probably. You know, so that's absolutely nutty, and I can't wait to see what they do with that aspect of his character. But at the same time, I really hope they don't miss the mark and don't give us a really conveying like end game to this, because I feel like with a show like this, you should never end it on 12 episodes. You should like this should be, you know, 24 or more episodes simply because how much stuff they can do with this character. I'm not saying that there is like maybe this is the end of it all, and I'm just saying if I was making this character or this story, just by how this played out with the Dragonborn and finding out these different races that exist still, like that are ancient race, that are, looked upon as some of the most powerful or top talked about people or things, they should keep doing that. Not only keep doing that, find a way to make it conveying that, someone's after all of them, and once he gets them, he can make an army of the ultimate, beasts and all that stuff. And maybe the vampire was one of them that he wanted to collect it, and it's not there, so taking whatever he still can. I'm talking about the guy in the black robe, or maybe the person the black robe's working for. We usually know that the person who has an ability to make monsters be an army and stuff like that wouldn't really put themselves on the front line. They would probably pass down their abilities to pawns if they can, or have pawns that already have abilities that are like this, so they don't have to do it themselves. I don't know. There's so much that could happen, and I'm riddled with questions on what they're going to do, and if this guy really is going to let 60,000 monsters hit a town with zero warning, all because he needs to turn back in his bounty, and that's it. So it's fair because he doesn't owe anybody anything after what's happened to him, but at the same time, he has the teacher with him and all those students, and I think that's more than enough to get him to be convinced that what he's doing is wrong for now while they're around, and he'll do it, but once they're gone, he'll probably live his life the way he normally does. But with all that being said, my anime people, I don't know where Copcraft is. It hasn't even shown up, so I might drop it later if it actually shows up. But if not, I will drop it next week whenever it comes out. So with all that being said, have an amazing one and peace.